Hello, and welcome to Anime Audio Commentary. Today I'll be commenting on Episode 1 of Code Geass R2. If you'd like to watch along, then start watching now. So, last we left off with Code Geass R1, it was a bit interesting, you know? Zero and Suzaku were shooting at each other. Nunnally had been kidnapped, and C2 was like seemingly droning along with Agent Orange. And I have to admit, I was a little bit disappointed at the time, considering that a whole bunch of the questions and plot points hadn't really been answered, and it seems like we're not picking up there either. In fact, it seems like things are quite a bit different. Like, you have C2 here, but it seems like the Order of the Black Knight has been pushed back, you know. They're seemingly on the back foot, whereby if they succeed in this operation, then things will be a little bit better, but, you know, the Order is, you know, rather small in number. And, you know, we just have Lelouch here. Like, we don't really know how he got away with, you know, shooting or being shot by Suzaku. Yeah, this is interesting. I'm almost wondering if this is maybe the result of a Geass or something. You know. I mean, because the woman Lelouch is talking to is a Britannian agent. Or, you know, maybe not agent, but like, she is ostensibly an antagonist to him. And just sort of like running around the school with everyone treating him nicely. This seems to contrast heavily with how things were at the end of R1. You know, he was essentially like a military dictator now. Oh. Okay, so she's a teacher. And, oh, that was the other thing. Lelouch's friend remembers him now. You know, I do have to admit to being a little bit disappointed by how disconnected this is. Especially because I just realized, like, Lelouch seemingly has control of his Geass again, in that it's not immediately apparent. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. It seems like this is just a severe regression in every way. And, who is this guy? Because normally when Lelouch cuts school, it would be with revals, but, man, so we've just skipped ahead a year. And, the way Lelouch is talking about things, it seems like, he's deliberately disconnecting himself from events. You know, and he also has this brother here who's appeared out of nowhere. I'm wondering if maybe that's the cause of all this bizarre status quo. Because, like, we don't know who this character is. He's just showed up and he's, seemingly being shoehorned in and integrated into the cast where, he didn't really belong before. So I guess the question is, to what end has this happened? Man. So already we're having, like, firing squads on live TV. That's something. So, whatever happened here, like, Zero has ultimately lost. The Black Knights are on the back foot. Zero's not really helping or leading them. Like, I mean, he's seemingly dead, but we know that's not the case. So I'm wondering, one, how did he swing that? And two, if maybe this is sort of like that Gambit in Death Note where L erased his own memories. Or not L, Light, rather. I'm wondering if something like that's going on here. But the mechanism for this is as yet unknown because Lelouch had already Geassed himself once, meaning he shouldn't be able to do that again. So, it really does seem like we're back to square one. And, things are maybe even a little bit worse than before. I mean, people seem to be aware of Lelouch, for better or for worse. I mean, these guys seem to be like the remnants of the Black Knights, I'd imagine. Yeah, so I feel like, this is a plan, there's something going on here. So it's almost like Lelouch is talking about how he'd just, like, play people at chess despite, effectively traveling outside when it's illegal to do so. I feel like no chess game is worth that. Although I guess he isn't playing chess now, is he? He seems to have gone to a casino. Like, gambling, prize fighting, like... Oh boy. So this feels like foreshadowing, like a cage match between brothers, and the announcer saying who will win, the older or the younger brother. Like, I can't help but wonder if that's a little bit of foreshadowing with Lelouch and his brother here. So, I guess there's a distinct possibility that Lelouch is, referring to Zero as if he were someone else because, he knows and he's trying to distance himself. But at the same time, I don't know. Things are just a little too bizarre. So, Lelouch has bumped into a familiar face, and it's clear that something's going on here. Ah, boy. A bunny hunt. Wow. I can't say I condone it. It's certainly not good to treat the 11s as they are being treated, but... Man. Ooh, that seems to be a bit of a sore subject, the Emperor. Because, Lelouch, being a son of the Emperor, like, clearly it's a sore spot for him, and, that's also something that never really got resolved. The Emperor was at some point saying some mysterious stuff about things, and none of it was really elaborated upon. Yeah, I feel like, man, this almost strikes me as being kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, like, there's a dispute in a casino, and it's like, it's time to settle this with a game of chess. It's not quite as out of place as a children's card game, but... Oh! A Pizza Hut advertisement. We're so back. Everything's good once again. So despite the prisoners being, heavily restrained even in their cells, a lot of them still haven't quite given up hope entirely. You know, a lot of them are still like, you know, things wouldn't be like this if Zero were here, but at the same time, a lot of them are pretty bitter about the whole thing. You know, Zero disappeared during the final battle and then supposedly died. So I guess once again, Lelouch is displaying that he's a real master at chess here. And, you know, it's not necessarily a smart thing to beat, like, a vain mafia man, you know? Because, like, the guy's just sort of, like, assuming he's cheating at chess, and it's like... That's kind of a sore loser thing to say, but at the same time, the mafia, being criminals, you know, they don't exactly care for what is lawful. Alright, there we go. Some action. So it seems like, for one reason or another, this was part of the plan here. Wow. You know, I certainly appreciate the bunny suit more and more as Callan just beats the tar out of people. So, I do have to wonder why nightmare frames are being deployed within the casino, because I feel like they wouldn't do it without reason, especially because these are, you know, the remnants of the Black Knights. Like, Lelouch seems unclear about what's going on here. I don't know, I guess I assumed they would only deploy to, like, take hostages or something, but, it doesn't seem to be what they were doing. Alright, so we have diplomats from the Chinese Federation talking to the Britannian Empire. And, okay. Well, I thought that was gonna get a bit more gory than it ended up being. You know, it's probably for the best that the Chinese bodyguard merely slashed off their belts rather than gutted them. But, you know, I was given to understand that the Britannian Empire and the Chinese Federation were antagonistic to one another. And if they're sort of like cozying up or opening diplomatic channels, I mean, I feel like that's got serious implications for the, just general geopolitical state of affairs. So at least, to have called this place Babel Tower, like, that's a very bold choice. You know, the Tower of Babel was, what would you call it? Like a story from the Bible about how people decided they would build a tower to heaven, and God paid them back decisively. So calling something Babel Tower, like, I mean, that's... You know, foreshadowing is sometimes, kind of subtle. This is not one of those instances. Like, I get the feeling that Babel Tower is going to be collapsed. So yeah, things are already getting, pretty violent. Now I guess the question is, how exactly is Lelouch related to all these events? Because it seems like he knows and doesn't know what's going on. Or at least he certainly doesn't know about whatever's going on here at this operation. I'm trying to remember, because I took a bit of a hiatus after R1. I'm not sure how many people knew of his real identity. Like, I know Callan... I believe Callan did. Like, I think she at least saw him unmasked. And C2 knows for sure, but, like, no one else beyond that really knows. Well, I guess with the exception of Suzaku, but we haven't seen much of him either. You know? I mean, I get the feeling he is alive, considering Lelouch ordered him to live. You know, that's not something you can really get out of, except through extenuating circumstances. I mean, I get the feeling that even if Lelouch tried to shoot him, he probably didn't die. Oh boy. So things have just gotten rather hairy for Lelouch, falling down multiple stories. Like, man, not good. So I guess back with the student council, like, it seems like things are business as usual, and that girl whose name escapes me, she seems to know Lelouch, which, you know, considering he asked her to forget, like, that's interesting. Because there were hints that she was slowly sort of seeing evidence that contradicted her lack of knowledge about him, but we never really got anything conclusive on that front. So, this really makes me think that Lelouch doesn't remember to a degree, because, like, it's not like he ever liked slaughter and bloodshed and all that, but, like, he sort of inured himself to it just because, like, he had seen so much. So to see a massacre like this, and to be scared of the Order of the Black Knights, like, this indicates that, you know, he's lost his memories somehow. And I should hope there's a pretty good reason for this, otherwise I would consider it a massive cop-out. Like, C2 has to come personally and say, like, look, you and I, we made a contract, you are the enemy of Britannia, like, you know, like, you gotta come with me. I mean, yeah, like, it seems like there's some clear amnesia at work here. I hope there's a good explanation for it. Ooh. So I feel like we're getting a bit of a reprise of the first episode, with C2 sort of shot in front of him and seemingly killed. Like, if he truly doesn't remember anything, then boy, is he going to be surprised when she winds up not dead. But at the same time, he's in this sort of bad position where the Britannians are, you know, in a position to just gun him down or burn him to death. Wow. You know, that is rather brutal if they're just pulling out the flamethrowers on people who are dubiously dead. You know. Flamethrowers are rather brutal weapons as it is. So it seems like the Britannian army was keeping an eye on Lelouch, which is interesting because it seems like he was really playing it up as just an ordinary civilian. Like, we, the viewers, know this isn't the case, but, ooh, okay, so their goal was C2, which makes sense, I suppose. But, okay, so they use Lelouch as bait, but it seems like they don't necessarily know who he is and what his significance is. Yeah, I'm hoping Lelouch sort of like snaps out of it, because with his Geass, this is a situation he can easily reverse. It's rather interesting that he's sort of lamenting the fact that he doesn't have the power to get out of this. But, you know, lo and behold, C2 is able to give him that gift. And so I guess the question is, like, was the Geass sealed away and now it's being unlocked, or is this essentially just a retread of the very first episode? Okay, so yeah, he does have the Geass. It's been sealed away along with memories, I suppose. So the question is, well, why was this the case? And I guess now that the seal's being unlocked, does this come with control over the Geass once again, or is he back in a position where he isn't able to control it? This has got to be kind of interesting where, like all these memories you thought were yours are revealed to be fake, and, the situation suddenly gets a lot more difficult than it was previously. Because, like, it's bad when you're facing down a firing squad, but it's worse when you're facing down a firing squad and you also know you are leading a revolution and were responsible for the deaths of many people. So, unfortunately for these guys, they're only just learning that C2 is very difficult to kill. Ooh. So this guy is saying something interesting, that, there is no evil or justice here, like, Bait dies. And, oh boy. So Lelouch is just doing again, he's telling him to commit toaster bath. And I guess with the power of the Geass, they have no choice but to listen. It'd be kind of funny if, like, one of these soldiers had already been Geassed before, but this seems to be not the case. So I guess the question remains, will the Geass in his eye go away? Will he go back to normal or what? But I don't know, maybe we won't get that answer, but this really does seem like a retread of the very first episode. And I'm not sure how I feel about that without getting more answers. Ooh. It's always good when you say, I'm not wrong, the entire world is wrong, and I will make it change. Like, that's how you know you're a good person. Oh dear indeed. So he's not even pretending with the mask anymore, he's just dispensing with that, like, I am Zero, I'm going to upset the apple cart, as it were. Ooh. So Suzaku is now in direct service to the Emperor, it seems. Alright, well that's it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, then by all means, tune in for the next one. See you, Space Cowboy.